Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. So today we're going to talk to you about the HSP Ghost, the HSP Knight, and the Litehawk Igniter. I include the Litehawk Igniter because it is an HSP Knight in every single way except for the name, okay? Same machine. And of course the Ghost is the same as the Knight and the Igniter with the exception of tires, body support, style, because you know, you got a car canopy for the Ghost, you got a truck canopy for the Knight and the Igniter. So tires and canopy and mounts for the canopy are going to be different on the Ghost compared to the Knight and the Igniter. Anyhow, the most common parts that you're going to need to order spares of for sure is going to be dog bones, motors, brass motor pinion, and the main gear. These are the most common parts they're going to break. I have blown, yes, one differential. So I did do that. So you might want at least one extra spare differential. And the differential in the front and the differential in the rear are the exact same differentials. There's no difference. So that's why they call it front/rear. Same as they do with the dog bones, etc. It's because it's the same front, same as rear. Okay. So anyway, so far I've torched one motor, I've torched one brass pinion gear, and I've torched probably this main gear. And of course the differential and some two dog bones. The dog bones are plastic. You can get alloy dog bones through Litehawk, they carry them. You can get other parts through HeliPal that are aluminum upgrades. Litehawk also has aluminum shock towers if you want to get into those, etc. Type of thing. But anyways, the motors are brushed motors, and they do get quite hot, especially whether you're running truck tires or the truggy tires, it doesn't matter. They're gonna the motor's still gonna heat up if you're doing a lot of full throttle stuff, and especially if you're driving on grass at all. Even short golf course height grass, you will definitely heat that motor up a lot, which is also gonna cause less run time too, okay? So that's something to be aware of. Having this heatsink is definitely a major must. This is going to extend the life of the motor. By how many runs, I don't know, but I can tell you this. I've only had about, I think, 35 runs total, and that includes this new motor. So I don't remember how many runs. I think it was a little over 20 runs that I had on the first motor before it blew. Now, 20 doesn't seem to be a lot of runs, but they were hard runs, they were bashing runs, they were abused runs. A lot of full throttling, not backing down, you know, so you got to expect, I mean, it is a brushed motor, and you're pushing a bit of weight here, so you got to kind of figure something's going to give, you know. I do think that the brushed motor should last a lot longer, you know, I mean, but they don't seem to be, especially considering I'm on my second one. And then today I threw my brass pinion, and it started to dig into the main gear, and I was hearing this awful sound. I can barely move the car, and so anyway, I changed the whole unit regardless. My main gear still may be okay, but I'm going to order some spares anyhow, and I might put this back in just to try it. The pinion is definitely shot. I mean, there's no going back. This thing just will not line into the teeth right. I even checked it to confirm. And the pinions aren't that bad. These are only about $4 a piece. The gears are main gears about $4 a piece. Motors are around $8. You know, so the parts are pretty cheap. Differential, they're about $20 for a full differential with the casings and everything. You can get them a little cheaper and just get the main inner unit. Front rear diff is the same diff. Dog bones is another thing that's going to break. I keep breaking my front left, but I haven't broken one now in about 5 or 6 runs. Mind you, I haven't been cartwheeling the hell out of it as much. You know, so I've been trying to take it a little bit easier on it because I got to order some parts now. I'm down to actually one last dog bone, but no more motors, so I got to order some motors and other stuff. But I'm also going to try a 13 tooth pinion too on the motor. What comes stock with these is an 11 tooth, and so I want to try the 13 and see what kind of difference it's going to make. But overall, I'd say, you know what, it's a great little machine. It's not going to cost you a fortune to keep it running, but if you drive it like a crazy maniac and you do a lot of bashing with it, you are definitely going to throw dog bones and gears and pinion gear The end gears that actually run up against the differential, I haven't damaged any of those yet. I only blew one differential so far in my rear end, so I had to replace that. That was my bad, but I haven't done any harm since to the new diff. And no damage to the front one at all. So I mean, it's a pretty good rugged machine. You know, it handles pretty decent. It can go through a lot of torture, you know, and before something lets go. This heat sink, by the way, is a definite must-have. This will definitely help save your motor from overheats. So it's not going to overheat it as fast. Now, any runs that I've been doing lately, I've only been running one battery on it, and then I'll let it sit for a couple hours to cool down because the motor gets hot. And so I don't put my second battery in right away. And I think that's probably another thing that burnt out the other motor quick, was I was just, you know, I'd burn out one battery, take it out, slap the other one in, back onto the street and the dirt and everywhere else you can go, I went, with no cool down time. So that could have definitely contributed to a shorter life. So now I'm trying to run this where I just run the one battery down, let her cool for a couple hours, recharge the battery, etc., and then see how much more lifespan I'm going to get out of the motor. I do know that this motor is already starting to get just a little weak, but it's got a bunch of runs on it, you know, and some of them were pretty harsh, yeah, so far so good. So that's something to keep in mind for extra parts to order, you know. As far as the canopy goes, I mean, my Ghost canopy's holding together pretty good. I split it in the corners here, and I've had to crazy glue it back in place, but I mean, you really don't need the tail fin, but it does kind of look better with it on there, you know. I don't run my antenna through my canopy at all. I actually just keep the wire tucked under, so I won't be smashing the crap out of my canopy that easily. Changing parts on this is really super easy. I'll actually do a video on that eventually too, on how to change this, and the other thing. Stabilizer links are staying together, suspension staying together, shock towers are staying together, bumpers, you know, they're not getting hurt. Everything else is doing really well on this machine. I'm actually quite surprised. One thing I have noticed though, I mean, I blow this thing out with air every day when I'm done playing with it for the day. I just get all the sand and stuff out. I do notice that you do tend to collect some very fine sand particles underneath the main gear housing. This stuff does get in there, but it's not too bad. So you might want to maybe take the motor, if you're playing in sand a lot, you might want to take the motor apart and everything else like every day and blow all that crap out of there and keep it out. That would definitely give longer life to your pinion gears and your main gear. But everything else is totally 100% sealed, like in the differentials and everything, nothing's getting inside there, which is really excellent. So anyway, that's about it. If you have any questions, comments, feel free to ask, and I'll do my best as always to answer them, and we'll go from there. So catch you on the next video.